Hi, my name is Travis Williams. I'm owner and lead counselor for True Impact Counseling Services. We're based in Raleigh, North Carolina. And today I wanted to stop by and do a quick video entitled Co-Parenting Pitfalls. Again, we'll be talking about co-parenting pitfalls. Um, as a couples therapist, I've had an opportunity to observe and just take in um, what I consider to be do's and don'ts regarding co-parenting. And I thought today I would just share some information on what I consider to be pitfalls if you're trying to co-parent. Um, Even though I am a couples therapist, I I am very realistic that not every relationship that is trying to reconcile after a hurt or a setback is going to end up working out, and therefore people break up. And when two people share children, co-parenting is something that just has to be a top priority. Oftentimes, we don't look at this as something that we need to confront until we're right in the middle of having to be a co-parent. And that's another reason I want to share this video. If you are in a process of separation, if you are currently going through formal divorce procedures, I will say this, that this is information only. If you already have an agreement, please follow what's on that agreement. But for people just need general information about co-parenting and what that looks like, I think avoiding these pitfalls would be a great start, okay? Pitfall number one, please try not to live in your past. If you are in a situation where you're separated, you moved out, you know the relationship is not going to work out. If we are constantly in a state of hurt, of living in the past where we've been hurt in that relationship, or we feel we still have anger and frustration about what happened in that relationship, it is going to bleed over to our co-parenting role. I'm going to talk about how we can address some of those issues in a later video, but just be mindful. If you're feeling certain negative emotions and you are a co-parent now, uh, and a lot of that has to do with you thinking about that relationship, things that have went on in the past, and how I was in that relationship and I felt a certain way, and I just don't want to be bothered with that woman, and therefore maybe you're not as present in that child's life as a co-parent. At that point, you're living in the past. So let's try not to do that. Co-parenting pitfall number two, living in the future. There are times that uh, in the process of separation, divorce, you end up meeting someone else, and sparks are flying, fireworks are going off. You feel as if this is the relationship I should have always been in. And all of a sudden, it's real easy for you to focus on that best case scenario future that you have in your mind and forget about that present family. Uh, I believe that is something that you should try to be very mindful to keep from happening. Um, no one is trying to say that you should not move on as an individual, but let's be real, your first priority are the children that you share with that family that you're separating from. They were in the picture first. That said, we have to be mindful not to get so caught up on this future relationship that I want to get to, or just want to get away and see myself as a single person in my future, that we forget we have obligations right here in the present. That's our top priority. So please try not to get so caught up in the future that you fall into that co-parenting pitfall of just ignoring present obligations with your current family. Pitfall number three, Are we avoiding responsibility and using as an excuse our poor relationship with the ex-partner? In other words, it's easy to blame uh, uh, the feelings that you have, the negative communication and the stress that you feel when you have to communicate with your ex, as and use that as a reason why you don't want to be around as much, or the reason why you don't want to support as much as you should. That said, uh, how you feel in that moment uh, is really not important. I get that it's stressful. I get that there may be some negative energy, but keep in mind, regardless of how you feel about that ex, you are still a parent. So you got to set those feelings to the side and fulfill whatever responsibilities that you have agreed to. And I submit that whatever you're doing, whatever you were doing before as a parent, you should continue to do as a co-parent. In other words, um, don't separate that out, that the moment that I leave, there are some parenting responsibilities that also leave. That's a no-no. No, you don't leave any of those behind. Matter of fact, you have to double down and be even more intentional that whatever I was doing when I was in the home is what I will continue to do now that I'm not in a home and I have to be a co-parent. We also, for pitfall number 4, as a co-parenting pitfall we want to avoid, we want to make sure that we keep our word when we've made agreements. Oftentimes, we start off with the best intentions of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If you have went through formal proceedings, maybe some of this stuff is actually part of the agreement in formal divorce proceedings, where you're obligated to do these things. And we all know that doesn't happen sometimes, but I believe that that is where we go wrong. Again, agreements that you made, promises that you put out there. Um, those are things that you want to double down to make sure that you keep. One, that's your word as a parent. We don't want to get in a habit of breaking promises to our children. Two, regardless of whether or not we're with our ex-partner or not, we want to always model good parenting for our children. And I do believe co-parents can be good parents, but it does start with making sure that we keep up our end of the bargain. If you are the partner that has left and separated yourself from the primary residence, whatever you said you were going to do to help maintain the stability of those children, follow through with that. Don't be that person that that primary parent has to chase down or constantly remind, or you're a no-show and excuses have to be made as to why you're a no-show. And by the way, this is not just about being present, but it's also your financial agreements. If there's certain things that you said you were going to attend to or take care of for the good of the children, keep in mind, this is for the good of the children. Keep those promises, okay? That concludes 4 major pitfalls for co-parenting. I hope this information has been helpful. I do want to say that it helps to speak to a professional if you find that you are dealing with any of these co-parenting pitfalls. Oftentimes, professionals have co-parenting skills classes they offer. At a minimum, it helps to talk to somebody about maybe some of the emotions that may be behind these pitfalls. So I'm hoping that you reach out and get some help. The next video, we'll talk about how we can get ahead of some of these pitfalls and what we can do if we find that we are dealing with some of this stuff, okay? Until next time, God bless you, God keep you. I pray that his undeserved favor cover you till the next time I see you. Take care.